Welcome again to How to Write with Tania Donovan. Today we're going to be covering a fact sheet. So I will begin by explaining who needs a fact sheet, who's going to find use in writing a fact sheet, why would you use it, and then organization and style of a fact sheet, what goes into one content-wise, and how to present it, which is just as important as how to write it and what to write in it. So first and foremost, who needs a fact sheet? Why would we write a fact sheet? And I am going to direct you, just like in all my other videos, to up above to the writing portfolio, where if you click on that, you'll find the fact sheet that I've posted, that I've created. It is the International Monetary Fund fact sheet. And you'll see my format for that particular one that I developed. In this video, I will also show two additional fact sheets in different formats, and so I will talk about them as I pull them up for you, so you can take a look as well. One is on the care organization, and another one is case of emergency, and they just offer different formats that you can look at with the same idea behind it. So anyway, so why would we use a fact sheet? First of all, who would need this? Would it be it can be a company, it can be an organization, a nonprofit, a business, to describe factual information about themselves and about who they are. This can include history, location, what it makes or what it does, what kind of product it has, or what kind of service. If we, for example, were writing a fact sheet for a cause, then we might want to include what the problem is and what it is that this particular cause is solving. We would also show its purpose in the solution and how it is supported. So have factual information about maybe the foundation of this particular solution to this cause. What are the entities and agencies behind it supporting it? If it was a candidate, a fact sheet for a candidate, maybe what is this individual running for, who they are, why are they running, and of course include credentials as well. Might want to include ideas and biographical information, details that give the reader an idea of who this individual is in the big picture as a whole. If the fact sheet was for a place, include history, include attractions, interesting facts about this particular location, something that's going to keep the reader reading on this particular location or piece. If it's a program, what does the program do? What are its functions? Who it helps? What it's accomplished lately? Maybe highlights if this is a long-running program, for example. If it's a product, well, again, what does the product do? What does it deliver? What is the cost? What is going to interest the reader about this particular product? What are they going to want to know about the product? Where it is located? Where it is available? Where can they find this product? If it were a fact sheet on an event, we definitely want to include the location, the activities, the date and time, be as specific as you can. Is there an entry fee? Have as many details as you can into that in that fact sheet, because this is your one opportunity to include as much as you can of information to deliver to the reader, for them to know and understand what it is that this fact sheet is for, what it is this event, what is this person about. If it's an idea, I think this might be one of the most challenging ones. If it's an idea, we'll include what the idea is and why it matters. Why would anybody care about this particular idea? And also how it works. How does this idea function in the real world? Is it a theoretical idea? And what is the evidence that supports that it would function in the real world, and how? So we're going to go to organization and style, and this is where I will have you look at the care fact sheet, which is up on the screen, and you can see that this particular fact sheet includes graphs and a map, also highlighted numbers about how many hospitals, how many people or money is involved, these highlighted items, the intent is really to communicate their importance in the fact sheet. So this is one format that we can look at. The other fact sheet that I have up here is case of emergency. It's really just bullet forms, but what it does is it shows a chronological order. That's the other thing you can do when it comes to organization. So we're gonna keep those two examples in mind. You can also reference mine, my copy, that is my fact sheet that is up on my writing portfolio. When it comes to organization and style for a fact sheet, use bullet points to easily communicate your facts and your information. It's always a good idea also to list in logical order from most to least important and from most basic to complex. You have to keep the reader intrigued in what you're writing, and delivering basic to the point information is a lot easier of a way to keep their attention than if you are giving them very complex information from the very beginning. So use that approach. Also use subheads for the organization and really for clarity. If you use subheads and you categorize your ideas, it's a lot easier of a flow excuse me, for the reader to understand. Also use plenty of white space. So you don't want to overwhelm the reader. So use space in between your points in order for their eyesight, really. You're appealing to their eyesight just as much as you're appealing to their brain and their thought process. For the brain to really continue reading and once read one, next, they can easily follow your method. Also, keep it to a page if possible. You can certainly go overboard with facts and information that you want to give, but more than likely you will have a set number of facts that you are absolutely want to include because they are important, and others that are either implied or can be figured out at a later point. Leave those out. Don't try to overwhelm the reader at once with a lot of useless facts and what should be your most important pieces. As far as content, one piece of advice is to brainstorm up front. Do your brainstorming just like you would with a paper ahead of time. Figure out, make a list of the most important information, and then break those down into facts, into categories, like I said earlier, because you're going to have a lot of information that you want to cover. So make a list and then start really creating either chronological order or a logical order of most to least important. Next, make a list of those categories that I mentioned, and then find items to place under each category. So that's how you will create your flow of information. Be consistent in form, and I cannot emphasize this enough. If you're going to use sentences, use only sentences in your fact sheet. If you're going to use phrases, then use only phrases, but don't use both. And definitely don't go back and forth. Again, you want to keep the reader engaged with their eyesight as much as with their brain. So you have to give them something that is nice and organized and clean, and that looks the same so that they're not reading all over the place. If you can see on that case of emergency fact sheet, you'll see that there's a lot of information there, but there are spaces and the indentations are all the same. It's all in bullet form and it's also categorized. So it's all very appealing to the eye. It doesn't look messy. It looks very organized, and that's what you really want to achieve. In either case, make short and to the point all of your facts, and cover the basics. So like I said, if you keep it clean and organized and organized in the same format as well with the right content, you are on track. You might want to, some of the examples the one that I created that is up, some of the categories are key facts. So when I created my category list from most important to least important, I had my key facts. Then I wanted to include some of the background information just to give context of what this International Monetary Fund organization was all about. And then the mission, because the mission is so important, what it is that this organization does. And then I finished off with the category of leadership, tying it up to its mission as well. So that is all for fact sheets. Go forth and conquer, and thank you for listening.